right, welcome. This is the second hour. 2D Hard Way, Donovan Sadiq. You guys listening up, give me 1 second because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change and go to my Beam podcast and see if that works. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. You're the guy behind the bells and the whistles.
The bells and the whistles. Let's go to the Beam podcast and see what's going on. Here we go. Can't add no music. All right, we're in the second hour. I'm Donovan Sadiq. This is 2D Hard Way. And no, it's not going to work. I need the other phone. No, it's not going to work. Anyway.
No podcast today.
Well, on the second hour.
Yeah.
But we still got the video here. So I'm glad you guys were, and we're also live on Facebook. So check out Donovan Sadiq if you want to check us out live. And we're going to do the live on different platforms so people can see us on different platforms as well. For those of you guys that haven't been paying attention.
Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first democratically elected president in 1994. It was the official end of white minority rule, otherwise known as apartheid. Apartheid, you've heard of it, but what exactly was it? I'm Francesca Fiorentini, and this is AJ Plus. Apartheid is an Afrikaans word that means separateness. It was a system of racial segregation that governed South Africa for nearly 50 years. It specifically aimed to protect the domination of the white South Africans over non-whites in every aspect of life. But it didn't just appear out of thin air. During the colonial grab for the country between the Dutch-descended Afrikaners and the British, the rights of native black South Africans were sidelined. So when apartheid was officially made law in 1948 by the Afrikaner-led National Party, it was a continuation of injustices already happening. Afrikaners believed that South Africa was their God-given homeland, and that the white race was superior. The black majority was therefore seen as a threat. There were 148 apartheid laws. Blacks had to carry ID permits at all times and had to obey strict curfews. Public facilities were separated for white and non-white use, and marriages between whites and other races were banned. People were classified into 4 racial categories: white, black, Indian, and colored. People of mixed race. And they were all separated into different residential areas. Blacks were divided into 10 so-called homelands based on tribal groups. Homelands were rural, overcrowded, and lacked jobs, forcing blacks to seek work as migrant laborers. Wages were low, and it was illegal for workers to strike. See, apartheid was also economically motivated. A cheap workforce was needed particularly to work in the country's gold mines. Powerful mining magnates had a huge stake in apartheid policies since their profits depended on keeping black wages low. Outside their designated homelands, non-whites had no political rights. Since they were not technically citizens, they couldn't vote. Education? Also divided. The state set up a separate education system for blacks that received a fraction of the funding that white schools did. Mandatory education ended at age 13 and was structured to funnel blacks into menial migrant labor. Exploitation? By design. Needless to say, there was resistance to these insane laws. Protests were often led by black students and youth and were met with severe repression. Out of these struggles came leaders like Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and Walter Sisulu, who would help bring an eventual end to apartheid. So now that you know what apartheid was, could you imagine living under it? Are there any similarly unjust laws that still exist where you live? Leave us your comments below. Peace and reconciliation.
ANC, the African National Congress, which was headed by Nelson Mandela. And they have, after 20 years of apartheid ending, they have finally decided that the time has come for the people of Africa to take the land back that was stolen from them. Now, 70% of all land in Africa is owned by Afrikaners. For those of you guys who don't know who Afrikaners are, they're the Boers or the white people that live in South Africa, and they control not only 70% of the land. I think the Afrikaners are, I think they're less than 10% of the population.
But they own about 70% or so of the wealth.
Yeah, of the wealth as well. So, they play a very big part of what is going on in South Africa. Now, after 20 years of what's that, contrition and trying to be forgiving.
Right.
What was that called that they were doing? It was called, they had a term for it. But
They being who?
just Africans in general. It was reconciliation.
Oh, okay.
They were trying to forgive and just move
yeah.
forward and stuff
Right.
like that. 20 years has passed, and they said 3% of the land has been given back to the Africans. Now, if you go to Johannesburg and you go out to
Not 30?
Not 30. 3% of the land.
Not 33?
No, not 33. 3% of the land over a 20-year period has been given back to the rightful owners. Now, how much patience are these people supposed to have? So now a new faction has come in and they have voted to change the Constitution to say, we are going to take this land from you without compensation. And the white people are up in arms as we speak right now, and there is talk of a possible civil war. Al Jazeera has reported on it. The BBC has reported on it. The white people in that country are arming themselves, as we are hearing about. Of course, there is a lot of farmers being murdered.
So they say.
So they say. But again, you're on land that is not yours, and that's a big problem. So let me ask you this. If 20 years has passed, how much patience are Africans supposed to have for land that's theirs?
Well, I honestly don't think 20 years should have passed, but I just think they, being white people, are used to us. You gonna give it to us?
Yeah, being patient.
Tomorrow, massa? Okay, I come back tomorrow. They're used to us doing that and just saying, who gives a shit about you, black people? Yeah, they're just used to us. They're just used to that. And so now it's like, oh, bet you by golly, wow, you guys are really serious this time. You want your land, you want a piece of the pie, and now you're so fed up, which that's just the law of nature. You're going to hold somebody down for so long until they say, you know what, I'm done. Karl Marx, I was trying to think of it.
Okay.
Me to give you guys a whole thank God we're not on the podcast, but Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. They wrote about that in the Communist Manifesto. They're saying, and it's just the way it works. After a while, when you've had your thumb on something or somebody for so long, they're going to eventually start to push up, and they're going to start to rise up, and they're going to start to revolt. And then pretty soon they're going to acquire what was taken from them. That's just the way it works. And so 20 years is a long time, but it's like better late than never.
Right.
I mean, eventually that was going to happen. And so, yeah, I can understand where the white people are coming from. Oh, my God, it's ours. Yeah, we stole it from you, but it's ours now. And you how dare you guys want it back? I understand that, but you also need to understand that the land never belonged to you in the first place.
Right. Now that's what they're arguing about, and that's a contention. Now, here's the thing. There is a faction of white South Afrikaners that are all for giving the land back.
Okay.
But they want fair value for it. Now,
why? Did you give us a fair value?
Well, here's the thing, and this is what the argument is. They're just arguing this as like, you got to be reasonable. But here's the thing. How can you negotiate a fair price for land for people that don't have any wealth?
And
see, that's their way of...
How do you even bring in the word reasonable?
Right.
Were you reasonable when you went over there and killed?
I had nothing to do with that.
And stripped.
I had nothing to do with that.
You know what?
I didn't enslave anybody.
You didn't do it, but you are reaping the benefits from
I
your
didn't enslave
people
anybody.
doing. You didn't do it.
I invested my money and bought this farm here.
Yeah, but
all I'm asking you is to give me a fair price for it.
I wasn't giving you shit.
I went to the state and I purchased this land.
Yeah, but how did you get it? How did your people get it in the
I
first
don't
place?
know. I don't care. All I know is I took $100,000 of my hard-earned money and I bought this land legally from the state that gave it to me. And all I'm asking you is, the land now is worth $150,000. All I want, you got $150,000? I'll sell it to you and I'll leave.
As my boy Julius Malema says, hell no. Get your ass and go.
But let's be reasonable.
We ain't gonna, okay.
My brother, let's be reasonable. Yes,
now
be
we brothers,
reasonable.
okay.
It is unfathomable that you take this land and not compensate me for what I've lost. You're basically saying I'm just getting wiped out.
So basically, you mad because I'm doing a you on you?
No, I'm not mad on you. And you know what? And if you do that, I hope the land fails. And I hope you guys just go to hell. Hell with this.
Bye. Deuces.
And that's basically the argument that the white people there are giving to the the rightful owners of the land. They're like, hey, if you do this, we're going to wish damnation on you and hope you fail. But yet you love your country, South Africa. Why would you condemn it to fail?
That's just true to nature. That's just who they are. If I can't have it, you can't have it either. We talked about in the last segment, Tulsa, Oklahoma, during Black Wall Street. Black people were thriving. They had their stuff together. Just, we don't need white people for nothing. Matter of fact, I ain't seen a white person in a month.
Right.
And I saw them on the outskirts when I was on the outskirts.
Coming through. Bonnie and Clyde,
we were doing our thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Black people had their own thing going. White people couldn't stand it. Yeah, the white woman said, he dude touched me in the elevator, which that was debunked. It was a lie, but they were just itching, waiting for a reason to go and F it up, go burn it up and tear it up. And to this date, the people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood was an area, they have not been compensated. What they have is like a plaque or something. They gave them a plaque, a memorial of the people who died.
But let me ask you
this. But they listened. Mm-hmm. They didn't give them the 3 hospitals that they had. They didn't give them, matter of fact, what had happened was, after white people went into Tulsa, Oklahoma, and committed Black Wall Street, once all the land was destroyed, Black people couldn't afford to buy it back. They went in there and bought it for nothing, and built it back up. But the Black people are memorialized by a plaque or something.
Right.
So it's like, here we go. We're going to take the party to South Africa. Now you have the white people saying, oh my God, this is ours. We need to be compensated. Why? Why should you be compensated for something that you didn't get rightfully in the first place? Why should you be? Why? Because you're white? Because you're white and you don't have any value on Black people, and so I'm just going to take stuff and then, oh my gosh, it's terrible. I mean, white people went and everywhere they've been on the planet, they've killed and destroyed to get what they want everywhere they've been. And so now all of a sudden Black people, which is not a secret to nobody, Black people are starting to rise up. Black people are starting to say, you know what? They ain't going to give it to us. We need to take it. By any means necessary, there's a lot of people who are willing to die for the cause. It's like you're going to die anyway.
But see, I have to disagree with you. Nelson Mandela came out of prison and he said reconciliation and Botha, and they were all...
How did that work out for him?
Well, he's dead now, so...
Right.
But the thing is, it's just going to take a little bit more time.
No.
We need a little bit more time to work this out.
You out of time.
We got to have more time.
You out of time.
Because if you take for those good guys that are watching, what is your stance on this? Do you think it is right to take land without compensating the people you're taking the land from? But then again, you're in Africa where the land was stolen and the continent was carved up illegally. So I'm going on record. I believe they should not be compensated because it sounds right to me. You got to go 20 years. You guys haven't made any strides to give the land back. I think that's one of the biggest things, Nelson Mandela, mistakes that he made. The exact time he became president, within a couple of days, he should have declared, all right, my fellow Africans, go onto these lands and take a stake and come back to the government. It is now yours. That's what they should have done from the get-go, and then by then the Civil War would have been over. By then. But, what is your take on that? I mean, here in America, we think that's unconscionable. How dare you give this land whatever? But we did the same thing here, not only in Black Wall Street. Remember the land grab as America was moving east or west? They said, just go out there, whatever you take, put your stake on it, the government's going to let you have it.
Right. Well,
so it's nothing unusual.
One state deserves another, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
And our Native Americans have they been? Well, they've been compensated, but a
lot of people might think I'm a cold piece, but it wouldn't be the first time. I just don't have no sympathy at all. I don't have any sympathy for them. Saying that they should be compensated. I really didn't do anything. Hell, we know in South Africa that even though apartheid is over, white people are sectioned off. Like, you can't, this is our area here.
There are towns in South
Africa.
Black
people don't come over here. Right. How the hell are you going to set up shop in somebody else's town or country and then tell them what to do, and then you're mad because they want it back?
Right. I was watching a thing on Jomo Kenyatta last night and how he is the father of Kenya. He's the founding father of Kenya. And of course, as he got older, when he became the prime minister, he was already in his 70s at the time. But before he became prime minister, he was locked up for like 8 years.
Right.
And who knows what they did to him in those 8 years while he was imprisoned. And Kenya at the time, when the British took over in the early 1900s, was a tourist destination. They wanted the people to settle there, and all these white people from England came there and settled and did whatever. And then so when Kenyatta took over, the white people were nervous. They thought it was going to be bad. So Kenyatta was like, we're going to do reconciliation and take our time, whatever it is. Of course, as he got older, because he got more senile, corruption and stuff started happening, which, I mean, it's going to happen. We have it here in our own country currently. But, he worked it out by laying a proper foundation for the country. And I think that Nelson Mandela didn't do that in regards to the direction that the...
Do you think Mandela got caught up in the hype of, I just did a 27-year stint, wrongfully in prison, and now everybody's, celebrating the fact that I'm out, and, now I'm president. Yeah, so do you think he got caught up into that, opposed to... really actually doing the work?
I do, because remember, before he came out of prison, and there was a lot of hype on him coming out, and Botha was trying to work this thing out, and I believe that I honestly believe that behind the scenes there was a deal done to where, okay, we're going to let you out, but for us to let you out now, we need you to do certain things and take your time. We don't want you to speak on this. And he's a little older now, and he sees like, hey, I lost a lot of years, and I got to get out of here, and I really do think he got caught up in the the hype of doing all this. We're going to turn the government over to you, but when we turn it over to you, do not.
That reminds me of a story once. I was actually, believe it or not, years and years ago, I was trying out, I guess you could say, to be a sheriff, sheriff officer, or whatever you call it.
You're going to join the system. All right. Neat.
And so, you had to do the physical test, and so I had to jump the 6-foot wall. And so I struggled when I was practicing to do it. So when I finally did it at the tryout, I guess you want to call it, I got on top of the wall and I was like, "Yay! I did it!" And the guy who was giving the evaluation was like, "Keep going! You're being timed. You got to keep going." Yeah. But I was just so happy to make it, which that helped me fail the test, because I stood up there and was, hey, I made it. Look at me. He was like, "Yo, you're being timed. Keep going.
Go."
I lost like 6 seconds or so up there acting a damn fool.
Which could be the difference between passing and
failing. And it was. It literally was. And so that's what it reminds me of. Okay, we get to the goal, or, what we're trying to achieve, and then it's like, okay, we're just going to stay here and just revel in the fact that I did it. But it's like, oh, yeah, I got other stuff to do.
And, in Mandela's defense and really in his dexterment, again, this man was in prison for 30-something years. And there was celebrity being in prison and stuff like that. He was the head of the ANC. But just like you said on your show Sunday, these politicians enrich themselves. How did he make all this money, and his family and all this other stuff? I mean, it's just... It's the same playbook over and over again, and we keep falling for it.
And the people, being your Julius Malema and the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, they're like, enough of that.
Enough of that, yeah. We got to move forward.
We're enough. We're tired of the kings and the queens. These people, dictators, like you said, coming in and enrich themselves while everybody else is impoverished. It's, if it's a black leader, because the ANC has elected black leaders or presidents ever since its existence. But so you have the king or the president who's making all this money. And they have all the white people, but then the black people are in squalor.
Right, the majority of the population is in squalor.
Who are voting for you are in squalor, okay? And so if you bring it back to America, it's the same situation. Black people are in squalor, but yet we keep voting for the same politicians that look like us, that aren't going to do us any good deeds. They're going to go and enrich themselves eventually.
Right, I mean...
That's the way, it's from over there to Africa to here.
Right.
It's the same thing. And so at some point in time, we have to say, enough. Enough. We're not voting for you or you unless you're going to actually do the work and the will of the people, not just the will of yourself.
Right, because, you look at the Black Caucus. I mean, thank God we have some decent reporters out there exposing what's going on with this Trump administration, but Maxine Waters keeps talking about, we need to impeach him and this, that, but you're not telling us why. What are you doing to me, she should be using her bully pulpit every day to say this. And recently, a guy in Pennsylvania won a district that Trump won by 20%. And how did he win it? He distanced himself from Nancy Pelosi. They asked him to go, do you think that, he was like, well, we need new leadership on both sides.
Well, my whole take on the thing, I would rather see Maxine Waters use her bully pulpit, as you would say, or her influence to help black people.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
she's not doing it.
But because Trump is, to me, honestly, Trump is neither here or there.
Right. No,
I don't focus on Trump a whole lot because Trump gonna do what Trump is what they're having him do.
Right.
Put it that way.
But what I'm saying is, you have a black caucus. So this is a group of black.
Well, the black
congressmen.
caucus, come on.
Well, what I'm saying is, though, you have this group of black so-called leaders.
Right. So-called.
Congressional men.
Right.
They have a platform where they can put out information that relates to us. But they don't do it.
Why should they?
That's what I'm saying.
Why would you do that if most of your donors and the people who help you or help finance you are the powers that be, or the white organizations, or the white people? Why would you do that? And why would you do that if listen, I know my constituents know that I haven't done a damn thing for them, but they're going to turn up to the polls in record numbers to get Barbara Lee in the office.
Right. Now,
and all these other people in the black caucus.
Now, remember a couple years, 2 years ago, we had a person that had that same thought, Chevron Cheryl Brown, and we brought her down.
Did we bring her down, or did the other side bring her down? Because I know a lot of black people who were still rooting for Cheryl Brown.
Oh yeah, no. When I say we brought her down, is those that are awake and the other side. We brought her down and brought her to earth because once people realize what's going on, they're more apt to say, yeah, he's right. We have Denise Fleming. This lady who thinks she's going to run for mayor again here in the city of Manila Valley.
This is tea, y'all.
She thinks that she's going to be this, and did I not put out and show that she was an unethical person that cared nothing about what was going on in the city, but what she could enrich herself with?
Well, I think you did, do a good job of that. But I think more than anything, it's unfortunate. A lot of and I get tired of people saying, especially the black politicians.
We got to stick together.
Well, no, not even we sticking together. I'm the president or the city council or the assembly person of everybody.
Yeah. Once they get in it.
But you don't want black people to vote for you.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do a damn thing. So you're saying, "Oh, listen, I need y'all to vote for me. But I ain't going to do a damn thing for you.
Right.
Continue to vote me because I'm the president or the such and such of everybody." No. Get in there and obviously do the will of the city or wherever you're at. Do that, but make sure that your people are being benefited by that, because you're going to, as I said Sunday, you're going to have yourself up in every black church, every black organization, and, trying to pander for votes and say what you're going to do, what you ain't going to do. And then when you get into office, you're going to forget about the very people that you went and pander to.
Right. Now, everybody's going to say, oh, Donovan, you talk about all this blackness and you do all this, but yet you support...
You a black man. You're supposed to talk about blackness.
Right. No, but they say I do it, but I support other people other than. I support people that are ethically in my interests.
I'm going to say this about me. I'm going to support black people who are ethical. Ethical black people. That's what I'm going to say because, I think we need to get past the point of having to explain ourselves. Or, be apologetic about who we are. As a black woman, I'm supposed to be for things that are black. That don't mean I'm against things that are not black, but it means that I am for things that are like me.
Right.
Everybody else does that. I don't care who it is. White people got Trump in the office, and it's predominantly white people who, amen the bullshit that he does.
Right.
They are unapologetic about who that man is.
And think about this. Every time they talk about a tax cut, that benefits the majority of white people because they have the businesses, they have, the wealth, they have those things. The majority of black people in this country do not benefit from tax cuts.
Right. And, but we need to be.
Right. No, but see, when I say that, though, people are going to jump down my throat saying, you know what you're talking about.
Oh, well.
I do know what I'm talking about.
Oh, well. But the thing is, too, this is how you turn it around. So then we have these black politicians who continuously pander to the black community. That's what we hold them accountable.
Okay.
All right, if I vote for you, you need to take yourself to Washington or whatever the case is and say this is what my people need. And Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that. We need to contractually hold them to that.
But how do you contractually hold something that isn't
agree? The terms are in the contract.
But once they get elected, there's other rules that supersede that.
Okay, but then we like I said, we put things in the contract that say A, B, C, and D are going to happen or not going to happen if you do this, that, and the other.
But if I'm in there for 2 or 3 years, nothing you can do.
Well, then we'll see you when you get out, depending on what's in the contract.
Right.
I mean,
right.
But I guess the point really is, aside from the contract, is that we just stop saying, okay, well, sure, I'll vote for you. Because you came up in here and you clapped the tambourine up in the church and you dropped the $100 bill in the offering and you shook a jig as you was leaving.
Well, remember, Shirley Caesar came out to support Corrine Brown and her defense fund.
Right.
Like
okay.
that.
Well,
I got Shirley Caesar coming in.
Well, we tired of all of that. Okay, because that we enough of the shucking and jiving. Mm-hmm. We don't need that. We need you to be talking about some things that you're actually going to do.
And I'm going to say this for everybody that pays attention. I know I bring up Cheryl Brown. All these Browns seem to be in a lot of trouble. Like the Bacas, that name Baca, they're in trouble. But Corrine Brown. Let me tell you something about Corrine Brown. I know I bring her up a lot, but I use her as an example of here's a person who was the first black person elected in Florida since Reconstruction to go to Congress. She went there with great intentions. I believe everybody initially goes to Congress with great intentions.
Right.
Innocent
I believe that
intentions.
too. I believe that too.
Innocent intentions.
Yeah.
But to get anything done, you got to play the game. Now, if you go to Jacksonville, a lot of black people will tell you the great things Corrine Brown has done. And she has done a lot of stuff
I was just there, and a lot of people did say that.
She has done a lot of things in Jacksonville. But what is she going to be remembered for? For corruption.
And Beyonce tickets.
And the Beyonce tickets. And stealing from the kids. And tax fraud. And all these other things. And, $10,000 or $800 cakes for her daughter. And, just unbelievable stuff.
Well, let's just play devil's advocate here. Okay, so you just won the assembly seat or whatever the hell it is, okay?
I'm throwing the biggest stripper party there ever is.
Right, you just won the assembly seat, and I go, so Donovan.
Yes.
And I'm a lobbyist or somebody with a lot of money or whatever.
Sure. You know it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I say, hey, I just,
white envelope.
If you're going to, just do this favor for me, go ahead and get that to some fund. I don't know.
Let me see.
It's
not big enough.
Some fund.
Not big enough. I need another circle behind that.
Okay, well, here you go.
All right.
Then how about that? Go and donate it to the Donovan Sadiq Children's something. Okay, but can you go ahead and build this such and such for me? What you gonna say?
I'll think about it.
You think about it, okay?
Mm-hmm. No, I got this.
Okay, I mean what I'm saying. So then this keeps coming to you.
Right.
Different people.
Sure.
Different people.
Sure.
You come in at a meager salary of $60,000. I don't know what they get paid now. $60,000. There's a bunch of zeros. How many times are you gonna say no?
Let's see. You want a what?
I want a wujamajigga.
Okay.
Is it over there and over there?
You want it approved. Now,
yes.
how many jobs is that going to bring?
10.
Not enough jobs. You're going to have to expand that a little bit.
I just gave you a bunch of zeros.
You didn't give me a bunch of zeros because guess what? I'm an FBI
informant.
No, I'm an FBI informant, and you're going down. No.
I'm a lobbyist. I could do that.
Right.
I could do that.
You could do that as long as there's not an agreement.
I mean, but come on. I'm going to clean it up, wash it up, and, launder it.
I'm going to say, in the words of Mark Rubio, I don't solicit money. You believe in my vision.
But you take it nevertheless.
Right, because you believe in my vision.
Right, and so after a while, the money is too sexy to turn down. What you going to do?
But here's what I would do. This is me personally, because I'm not affected by money. Mm-hmm. I pretty much.
Well, if that's the case, when we leave out here, and then you write me $1,000 check.
Well, I don't give my money away. But I'm talking about like this.
Right.
Something like this, you can take a donation. Okay, if you're taking care of your constituents like you're supposed to, you don't have to worry about getting money like this because you're bringing home the bread and butter to your constituents.
Okay, let me ask you, can you do both?
With this money?
Yeah, can somebody give you, some money to do something? Could you take care of your constituents too?
Absolutely. Like I said, I could take this money that was given to me and donate to the women's shelter, make a better shelter, and do these things. Now, I'm going to talk to you as a developer, and I'm going to say, hey, look, we don't even have a civic center here. You want to make this big warehouse in this city? That's fine.
No, because that doesn't enrich me as a developer.
Well, then guess what? We don't have a deal then.
I mean, they're not going to say that outright.
No, of course not.
But that's what they're going to say.
But
pay to play. Here, okay.
Pay to play.
Listen, Donovan, I just did a title search, and I know that your house is in foreclosure. And, you got a lot of debt out there, and So here's the envelope right there. I need you.
All right.
I need that wooden tickets to be built over there.
Okay. I'm a firm believer that everybody has a price. Do not sit there and think that everybody does. Now, here's what I'm going to do. If you're going to do and take your price,
it's a lot of money in there, okay?
Yes, but
and some game changers.
Here's what I'm going to do. I now announce my retirement. I did. After I said yes, I approved that. I now announce my retirement, and I'm gone. But the problem is, they stay there and they keep
collecting checks,
and then they collect checks until they go to jail.
Right,
and that's the problem.
And don't do anything for the people. So yeah,
that's
I agree with that. I think everybody has their price, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
And like since you brought up Corrine Brown's case. She gave away a $1,200 scholarship
over $1 million.
$1 million. You gave one scholarship away for the children, for the babies.
And it was a 6-year period.
Right. So it's
that money went in there, and then she says she didn't do it, but yet her and her chief of staff are at ATM machines getting the money, and it's like they were check kiting.
Yeah.
They moved the money and put it in there, and she couldn't explain an additional $2,000 that was in her finance. She had no way of explaining it. But yet.
You don't have people just dropping money in your account and just unbeknownst to you?
Not yet.
Really?
But here's the thing. She's too old to go to prison, but yet she was running for re-election.
A horse of a different color, okay? Running for re-election is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Going to press license plates and I'm damn near 80. That's kind of...
Yeah. and then notice this.
It's kind of hard to do.
And then notice this. The prison system it needs reforming. Now, when you were a legislator and you could have done something about that, it wasn't a problem.
Well, it needs to be reformed now, goddammit.
Yes,
I'm going in there, okay?
Right, exactly.
I need them to put out the
at least put in
300 count Egyptian sheets.
Well, the thing is, she could at least gone in there and put some legislation to say that you can wear your wig as long as it's been, because I heard she's in there looking like
Are you saying that she in there bald-headed?
Yeah, she's in there bald-headed.
You need to stop. That's jacked up.
So, basically, but... tell us what you guys think about that. Do not be surprised if you hear South Africa going into a civil war because, and like I said, I got a lot of white friends, but when it comes to their interest and their things that they think that they deserve, they are quick to pick up a gun and start shooting and killing, and that's what's going to be happening in South Africa.
And it's interesting to see it play out. I mean, I'm rooting for the black South Africans. I hope they stay in there and don't give up. I don't think that Julius Malema would lead them just into just to something that they're unprepared for.
Right.
I think the brother and the powers that be behind him are more than willing to do what they got to do.
Right. A lot of the South Africans are saying, well, I'm from South Africa. This is where I'm from. I have no other place to go. 25% of all your white South Afrikaners are now in poverty, and the number is growing as the lands are being taken from them. And let's face
25% of white people oppose to damn near 100% of
black people. Right? Yeah.
Are we supposed to drop some tears?
That's what I don't understand.
Are we supposed to cry?
Right.
Because if we are, let me know. I can do that.
How can you want us to be sad for 25% of white people in poverty when 70% of black people are in poverty over there? But I guess that's normal to them, so that's normal.
That's because, that's the false idea of white supremacy and that we're better than you. You guys should... I mean, we talked about this in the last segment. We have black people going over with the white kids, or black kids going with the white kids, going to do these die-ins in Washington because of gun violence. But well, where were these white kids when you guys were getting murdered every day? Right. Where were these white kids? So it's like they feel like we should really just, band together with them.
Right. Same
thing with feminism. White women... they got these causes. Their ultimate thing was to take down their man, and plain and simple, I don't care, we can argue about it another date. Their objective was to take down their man, or the man, and I'm going to bring these black women with me, these Hispanic women with me, but we ain't never, ever, 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 ever going to talk about none of your causes. Right. We just want you guys to help us and do this, and then, if you need us, we ain't going to be there.
Right.
Now, a perfect example... as this has been going on in the news, Tamika Mallory, who was one of the founders of the Women March and the Women Movement, I guess you're saying, in recent times. She's a black woman, but she's also a staunch advocate and supporter of the Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so all these people, I know, right? All these people are asking her, all these people, white people, Jewish people, the president, now I don't know if the president, but, Fox News and different people are asking her to be fired or to resign or to denounce the minister, which she refuses to do. And I'm like, well, isn't she marching with some women? Where are all these other women that say, leave Tamika alone, you guys? Leave her alone.
Well, remember that thing I
She's
sent
a
you?
woman. She can do what she wants.
Yeah, remember that thing I sent you where they're has to do with Farrakhan, and they're like, they send these people out to like dog Farrakhan, and, like, shun him. And
I would say this though. There's one brother named every brother ain't a brother. Young Pharaoh. He thought he wanted it. He thought he was gonna get on social media and lie on the minister talking about.
Did the Dog Squad snatched him?
He killed Malcolm X. It's the same old nonsense, man. That brother got on the video and said, I might have misspoken. I'm just asking you guys to stay out of my inbox, and I'm not afraid of you guys, and you guys are threatening my family, and, I've got a lawyer, and he's going to be... Man, the brothers let him have it. Right. They're like, listen, what you're not going to do is lie on the minister. And that's why I'm saying Black people are really starting to wake up and like, listen, we're not taking it no more. We ain't taking it from the dumb, silly Negroes, and we ain't taking it from white folks no more. We are done taking the nonsense. I'm telling you, they shut that brother down. He was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was a basket case.
He thought he wanted it, but he didn't.
Right.
They descended down on him like nobody's business.
Well, like I said, you guys, that's going to be interesting in South Africa. The American news media is not going to cover this, and it's unfortunate, but I do believe what happens to them affects us.
Absolutely.
As a people, and vice versa. And we can learn a lot from what the South Africans are doing of standing up for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And electing the right leaders, ethical leaders that are going to do right by the people and take no prisoners and no compromise.
Absolutely.
And
the compromises was God is here.
Right.
It's God is this cheek or that cheek.
Or these cheeks. It's incredible to me. It's incredible to me. So, guys, if they're not going to report on it, I know I'm going to report on it because, like I said, in 2018, for a civil war to happen in a country such as South Africa, number one, it's long overdue.
Right.
It's long overdue, and it's inevitable.
Right.
Especially if the white folks do not want to leave. And all they're saying is, the South African government isn't saying white people get out. That isn't what they're saying.
Right.
They're saying turn over the land. You're free to stay.
Right.
But stay at your own peril if you do not do what's going to happen, because eventually 70%. If you're outnumbered by 70% of the population, it doesn't matter how many bullets you have. You're going to have to destroy the country in order to even have a chance.
Right.
So, and like I said, there's a place for these people to go. Denmark, the Netherlands, all that is there for them. They can take all their stuff and start a new beginning in the land where people look like them.
And they're white, and they can do that like
anywhere in the world.
Overnight.
Anywhere in the world. So again, when you're dealing with the riches of Africa, these white people do, and I'm not trying to be racial, but it's just a fact. When it deals with the riches of Africa, that's what this is about. That's why they won't leave. The wealth in Africa is so great. I think that the wealth belongs to the people who are of African descent. Period.
I agree, brother. I agree.
And that's how we're gonna deal with that. So you guys stay tuned for that. Sorry about the podcast. We're gonna get the podcast going. I ran out of room on that. Check out Dee on Sundays, 3 p.m. She is talking the real. Go to Demetra K on YouTube, and you can see her archive videos there if you missed it. Like, share, and comment. And before we go, you got some very colorful comments. Excuse me.
Oh, Lord. I didn't see them.
You haven't seen them yet?
Oh,
my gosh. Somebody came on there, and they said that they're hooked. They like the show.
Oh, okay.
And some people come in there and said that we don't know what the hell we're talking about. But as you always say, we're not always right.
But we ain't always wrong.
When you started your thing, now, for you guys that don't know, Dee used to do her little show in her room with her 50,000 friends, okay? And, I went to her and I said, yeah, you got this thing, and I see you doing it, but you're talking to the same people all the time. And I said, why don't you just... And she had a YouTube channel, but she hadn't used it in years. And so I said, let's just try this and see what's going on. And now she's going out there, and she's earning that hate. And... it's good debate. I mean, it's getting the message out there.
Well, I think Malcolm X said, if you don't have people hating you, you're not doing your job. You won't be successful. So.
Right, and having the conversation going back. Like I said, we're trying to gin up the conversation and maybe give you guys something that you never thought about or you never hear about. Like I said, what's going on in South Africa. With as many black people in this country, why isn't that being reported on the news? You want to know why? Because if they figure that you are hearing about what's happening to your brothers and sisters over there, you might do something over here.
Yep.
So, it's deep.
It's deep.
So, but Dee has, her subscribers are going up, her numbers are going up, and it's amazing. I knew it was going to happen. And so you are now a local celebrity. Are you running for president?
I'm a local celebrity. They don't want me to be president, okay?
Yeah. Are you running for any offices?
No.
No.
I mean, I probably could.
The revolution thing.
Yeah, right. I like the brother in New York. The rent is too damn high party.
Right.
Okay, I need to make me a party, something like that. Okay. We sick of this shit party.
Right. Our roving reporter Deanna, she's ETA.
She'll be back Friday.
Friday.
So she'll be on the show a couple times. I hope.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Right on. We got that going on. So you guys. Please tune in, like, share, and comment. We love the comments, and if you're talking foolishness, we're going to come back at you. Really,
we're just going to delete you.
Yeah, just delete you straight out.
We ain't going to go there.
Right. So, but thank you guys for checking in. For those guys that are on Facebook Live, this is us in the raw. This is the green screen. But check us out on YouTube. News from the Edgemont. Donovan Sadiq, Demetra K. Check us out. We will be back with other hot trending topics. If I can get Dee to start twerking, we'd have 1 million followers. Ain't happening.
I guess we're going to have that one.
We'll see you guys again next week.
Plus, my man would never have it, okay?
He never have it. All right.
He's like, you twerk for me?